Jose Aristimuno is the former Deputy National Press Secretary for the Democratic Party and political commentator with less than 100 days until the presidential election. The polls are telling one possible story, but as we saw in 2016, watch the people, don't watch the polls. Jose, welcome. You know, I'm looking at some of the, I think this obviously the race is going to be won. 2020 is going to be won in 6 states: Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, North Carolina, Wisconsin. I have to tell you, I'm going to agree here with you probably. I think some of the polling is concerning for the Trump campaign, but don't count your chickens before they're hatched. What say you, Jose?
100%. Eric, thank you for having me once again. Good to be with you. Look, the fact of the matter is that polls tell a story, but they might not tell a whole story. If you look at, like you just said rightfully, what happened in 2016, every poll basically gave it to Hillary Clinton, and she lost, even though, you know, due respect to her, she won the popular vote. But this is not about the popular vote. You got to make sure you get the electoral college. So I think what the DNC has to do, what the Biden campaign has to do, is make sure that they don't let voters think that this election is already theirs. This election is already won. People got to come out and vote. And from the Trump campaign, it is concerning that poll after poll, when you look at the way that he's handled coronavirus, he's losing. When you look at the way that he's handled race in general, he's losing. When you look at the economy, this is important. The economy, you would think Trump will be winning. The polls that I've been looking at, they're even. They're dead even between Biden and Trump. So I haven't seen him winning on pretty much any of the top issues that voters are going to care about. So he's got to change something in this next 90 days.
So let me do this. And I was really on top of this in 2016. All the polls were showing Hillary, and I kept telling viewers, telling you, stop watching the polls, or if you're going to watch the polls, pick them apart. Every single poll that comes out, including these, Morning Consult, CNBC, CNN, Fox, whoever, look at the methodology. And here's what happens. You look at the plus or minus. It's the margin of error for a poll. A lot of times it's 1.9 or 2%. That means 2% on each candidate. If you apply that number alone, every one of these swing states become a toss-up right now. Go one step further. Look at the methodology of who they're polling and how they poll them. Most typically, most of these polls will be D+, meaning more Democrats are polled than Republicans. Always going to be a bias towards the Democrat in these polls. Honestly, Jose, if you take 60 days ago, it was a dead heat. It was a dead heat. Now it looks like it's moving towards Joe Biden. We got 97 or 96 days left to go. Anything can happen.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. And at the end of the day, the president of the United States today is Donald Trump. So he's got the advantage. You know, he's obviously Congress is looking to potentially do another stimulus. You know, more money is coming into the hands of Americans. Knowing Trump, he's going to take the credit, even though it's Congress, you know, doing the work. He wants a signature on the check, so he's going to do everything he can that he gets the credit when things are going well for the good things. And, you know, if coronavirus is going bad and the death rate is going up, obviously he's going to look at Dr. Fauci and somebody else. That's the way Trump is. If he can do that, if he can confuse the American people, he might win re-election. Again, I'm like you. I ask people, look at the polls, you know, in their entirety, look at the methodology, look at the margin of error, look at all those things. But what you cannot do is say to yourself, oh, we're winning in the polls, I'm not going to go out and vote. Yeah. You got to go out and vote. That's the most important thing.
You know, it's amazing, Jose, and I got to leave here. I want to bring you back because you know what we didn't mention in this whole thing? We spent 5 minutes talking about we haven't mentioned Joe Biden, and I think that is very important. Joe Biden is somehow hanging in there without showing his face anywhere. Jose, we'd like to get you back again and talk Joe Biden next time around. Jose Aristimuno, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to it.